But I also know from, we've seen Kelvin Dill with this domain deck a number of times, and they've been playing very well today. And it's a real surprise. Kelvin Dill's a regular we see on a lot of PizzaBox tournaments, and so yeah. So it's, I don't know if anybody can do it.
Started here,
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of good players that play these tournaments as well.
Yeah.
We see a lot of good play. So we're jumping into the match here. We're on the side of mono red. So this is the quarterfinals. And this is going to be mono red. Let's see here. Versus quarterfinals.
Yep. All right.
Versus domain, I believe. Yeah. There's a mono red mirror happening, and then this is, I believe, the mono red versus domain. I'm not sure. We'll see here once they get started.
This is the mirror, actually.
Oh, this is the mirror?
Yep, so this one's the mirror. So these are 2 mono red aggro lists. Duking it out. All right.
Yeah, turn 1 Kumano. That's the best card in the deck. So turn 1 play from the home team here. We also mull to 5, sadly, but
yeah, this is definitely not a great start for Kylie here. Charming Scoundrel, excellent. Coming into the 2/2, becoming Wicked. That's
3/3.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a house. Mistress Foundry.
Finding land was pretty good there.
Yep.
Yeah. Now we can go Swift Spear, Lightning Strike, or Squee. Okay, Squee instead. Seems good.
Create some bodies that are swinging now. Might be able to block later if need be. See what you're going to do.
Yeah, no defensive plays here. Everybody's swinging. It's a hockey fight.
Just gloves off. Let's go. Yep.
Oof. Yeah. Now we're at the point where I'm not sure. Do we have to stop attacking here? Maybe leave back like the Goblin token, swing with the rest of the team, Lightning Strike, their Squee. So that would be, wait, can you do lethal here? 2, 4,
I think it's 11,
5,
if
6,
my math serves.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah.
So it's close. Darn close, but not quite there. So yeah, you're going to have to leave, but is there lethal on the crackback? So there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, is the short answer. There's...
You got to kill Squee. I think you kill Squee, leave back a Goblin token maybe. But yeah, if you're not going to Lightning Strike now, then leave the Swift Spear back as well, I guess, because you could Lightning Strike on their turn, make it a 2/3, block the etching, and then take 4. That said, you're going to have to bolt this Squee or Lightning Strike this Squee pre-attacks. So if you do that, they're probably not swinging with the etching. Okay, both players on 8 life, but the away team here, CBJ or CB Junior, has 4 cards to our
4 cards,
2, which is not
4 mana back. There's the Mistress Foundry as well, and that Wicked roll. So if the Scoundrel dies at some point, that's an additional 1 damage that we need to account for.
That's a point.
Yep.
Totally. Yep.
So.
Oh wow.
All right, Foundry getting activated from CB Junior.
Are we gonna let this attack happen? Surely you're gonna bolt Squee before attackers, right?
It would make sense.
Are you gonna let them? I mean, the only way to not, like, the reason you wouldn't do this is to ambush the Etching or the Mistress Foundry with the Monastery Swift Spear. Because again, if you Lightning Strike pre-attacks, they're not going to swing with their 2/2s. But the fact that they activated Foundry, I probably think they're still just swinging for the fences regardless.
Yeah, I'd imagine assuming a full send here is reasonable, even with,
So yeah.
And because honestly, the tempo advantage, I mean, that mana tapped now. I mean, they've committed to it. So you're going to be completely out on resources. You know,
I think I'm Lightning Striking Sweep pre-attacks here, and they're priced into attacking anyway into your 2/3 Swift Spear because they've got the mana tapped, like you said.
They're
let them go to
letting it happen
here. Okay.
All right.
Wow. Okay, well, there's an extra 1/1 Goblin coming in.
So they're going for the ambush plan.
So how are we going to ambush back? Now, of course, Lightning Strike, I would put blocker. Yeah, go to blockers first. I see a lot of players sometimes mess this up where they go for the removal spell before blockers. Get those blockers into play because if they have a play with fire here, you know, you're going to put Lightning Strike on the stack. Swift Spear is going to trigger and they can shock your Swift Spear in response. So make sure you block first and then play your burn spell.
Right.
They don't have it. Okay, they don't have any instance here. So that was pretty lucky. Swift Spear surviving. Can we do 8 on the crackback?
Ooh.
Okay. Ooh, we can't double spell here. So Nahiri's Warcrafting might hit a land. Can we play? I think you can. I can't remember now. Exile one of the cards. You may play this card, right? Yeah. So they can definitely hit a land here, and they do.
So
Yeah. And then they play
Swiftspear.
Wow,
Holy
good
cow!
hit. Good hit. Yep, that was a good draw. They needed to
wait a
hit
minute.
that
This
land
is
there.
7
2, 4,
damage.
6, 7. That's 7 though. Oh, did they miss?
That was such a
count?
phenomenal sequence and so many great back and forths, just so close. Oh,
I mean, you got to go all the way to the end of that decision tree. I didn't do the math at the end there. I was wondering if they were going to hit a mountain, but you got to go, okay, what happens if I do hit the land here? I get to play the Swiftspear. I get to attack. They block. How much damage is this? Oh, it's only 7. Maybe you can't attack there, but then you're dead on the backswing no matter what, right?
Yeah.
There's just nothing to be done there, I think. Yeah, so they swung anyway.
Yep.
Mull to 5. That's a tough one.
Being that close on the mull to 5 like that is impressive. I mean, they weren't on the play, to be fair, so that was a slight edge, but yeah, they were behind for sure.
Yeah, and this is another match where these aggro matches, the mirrors and things. Again, like I said before, the die roll is so huge here. Winning that game 1 means now we have the advantage being on the play. But even if we win this, we know that on game 3 they are going to have the big advantage being on the play again for game 3. So getting that game 1 in the mirror is so important, which is why winning that die roll is so important too.
Yep.
Oh, play with fire to the face.
Yeah, play with fire to the face to get the scry. They don't want to see a mountain, but they found one anyway, which makes that scry all the more valuable. All right.
Right.
Because at this point, Kylie has access to 4 lands. That is more than enough.
That's too many.
He's like, oh my goodness. Boy. And it just keeps coming.
And they're looking like, what? I scryed one to the bottom, right? I do that too. I'm like, I'll scry, like, I only have 2 farewells in my deck. I scry one to the bottom and then turn 1, draw farewell. I'm like, wait, what? Did I misclick? Nope.
I know. I've been doing a lot of timeless, and I've heard people refer to it as the thought seize bug, where you thought seize a card, get it out of there, and then they draw it. Like
they draw it immediately.
It's like, come on. Yeah. Anyway, it's kind of similar feel.
2 creatures that can't block on the other side of the field, and no plays on turn 3 with 5 cards in their hand means we are going to see removal spells here. There's nothing else that the red deck could possibly
guaranteed. So this is going to be a play with fire and or a lightning strike, probably. Yep, strike on Squee.
Yeah, lightning strike. And then we get in a clean hit here for 5 damage, putting them to 6. So yeah, those 2 creatures they have not blocking are really becoming a liability for CB Junior here.
Notably, Kylie's deck does have 22 lands, which for these mono red lists, I mean, well, actually, come to think of it, both of them have 22 lands. So okay, yeah. I could have swore I've seen ones with 19, and that's what I expect generally.
Oh wow. Yeah. These days, the red deck is playing more than 22 lands. Usually they're playing 23 lands, which, again, they are higher curve. They have more 3-drops than red would normally play, like Godric and Squee, and they even have Raiju, one Thundering Raiju, and a lot of them. There's a few, or Shivan Devastator, like the X Dragon spell. So they do want to get to 3 and 4 mana. They have a bunch of really strong plays on 3 and 4, or even just double spelling. For Godric, trying to trigger Celebration can be tricky. You really want to make sure you can hit that 3rd and 4th mana to double spell. You've also got Planeswalkers in the sideboard. I see Koth over there, not for this matchup, but these decks typically play 23. The last few mono red lists that have done well in the online challenges on Magic Online have been playing 23 land, which is more than these decks typically play, but they are a little bit higher curve, I think, than mono red traditionally is.
Right.
The lower curve decks like Dimir Tempo and the Monastery Mentor decks, you'll see those decks play 19 and 20 land, but that's because they're playing a bunch of 1-mana cantrips like Consider, Opt, Sleight of Hand, those kind of things. So they have that card draw, kind of like the Pioneer Phoenix decks and stuff. They can play a really low land count because they have so much filtering. But these days, mono red playing just slightly more lands than usual. Normally, you're right; they would be like 20 lands, that's 21.
Yeah, what I expect here. And so I was thinking like, man, why is Kylie drawing so many lands? And I realized 22 feels like a lot, but you're right. The curve on this is higher than you would otherwise expect.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of 3-drops, and they're important 3-drops. You really want to hit that Godric, and then you want to have the turn 1 Kumano into turn 3 Godric, flip Kumano, get that trigger, slam. Is a great sequence for mono red. So just making sure you hit your first 3-4 land drops is pretty important. But
Absolutely.
yeah, and CBJ on the play here for game 3 has the advantage, the natural advantage. Oof. Triple Witchstalker Frenzy is a little awkward here, but it allows us to double spell. Got to go for that Frenzy while it's cheap.
Yeah, and, so the question, do you fire the Frenzy now? I mean, or wait until CB Junior's turn, because that's on the attack.
But then you're giving Squee another trigger. Yeah, true. I guess you could play with Fire Squee and then still Frenzy. Maybe. Yeah, maybe you save it for a potential Godric or something.
Right.
I don't know. You're right.
Yeah,
play with Fire, you don't have to do it on our turn. That's true. You're right.
Yeah, I think waiting until the start of combat, hitting play Godric, there it is. Yeah. Well, so yeah, Kylie was very patient on this, and I think it paid off.
Yeah.
So I think you go to the start of combat, you play with Fire Squee before the attack, let them swing with the other 3, and then you can Frenzy Godric.
Yeah. Yep. I don't think I've ever played. Oh, and they attack with 3, so now we can double Frenzy here. Yeah. Nice. I've never played this mono red mirror in my life. Like, oh yeah, Frenzy works on their turn too, right?
It sure does. Oh yeah. Yes. Yep. And here we are getting rid of the Charming Scoundrel. Now the Wicked Roll is gonna ping for 1. That's fine.
Oh. Yep. A nice little exchange there. Drawing the triple Frenzy was pretty nice. Oh no!
Wow.
And Godric off the top. Yeah. Now we can't trigger him this turn, right?
Unfortunately, not.
Non-land permanents, so yeah.
So yeah, they have to settle for just being a 3/3 haste attacker. Frenzy, that's
Frenzy.
Fair.
Yeah, all right. Can't complain about that. But R5 damage to their 1 on the board, looking pretty good here. They got to draw something spicy now. Squee off the top, Raiju, something like that.
Yep.
I don't even know if that's enough. Probably not. They have to leave the Goblin back to block.
Oof.
And they didn't play a land, so what are we looking at? Perhaps 2 burn spells from our opponent. We'll see if they have.
It's possible.
But leaving the Goblin back means they probably don't have 2. They have to block something here.
Jumping 3. So at this point, CB has 2 more.
Spell.
Yep, there's Play with Fire, sure.
Yeah. But cannot deal with this 3/3 body on this Charming Scoundrel. Now we are at a gas, but it looks like our opponent is too.
Yeah, can the Hill Giant bring it home? That is the question. And here's Warcrafting and Witchstalker Frenzy. So plenty of removal. If Kylie loses this Scoundrel, which it looks like they will, yep. Full price Witchstalker Frenzy too, no less.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh, and a Kumano to follow it up. Not bad. Ugh, drawing all the removal here. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Nahiri's Warcrafting. I haven't seen that in too many lists, but boy, it seems clunky to me. I don't know. 3-mana sorcery in a mono red deck like this. Oh no, and there's a Swift Spear, so gotta deal with that immediately.
No decision. More lands. Oh my goodness.
No.
All right.
Yep, not ideal. I think I'm not frenzying here because I really would like to Warcraft this if I'm Keely here. Or Keely.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, I'm afraid. Yeah, but
Kaylee?
Certainly could be.
Ooh. Well, with all this mana, now we have something to do with it. That Bloodthirsty Adversary is pretty great, but yeah, Nahiri's Warcrafting, let's get the card advantage here, get some filtering.
Yeah, Godric, I think, is pretty nice.
Yep.
You know, CB has 1 card in hand, so the chance of it being some kind of removal is pretty decent, but make them have it.
And now Bloodthirsty Adversary is lethal because I think we have a Play with Fire in the yard.
I believe that's correct. Yep.
So that's
good game.
They know it.
Kumano. That's
damn.
Wow.
Winning on the draw. Pretty good in game 3 here. It's tough to win on the draw in the mirror, mono red. Not bad.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, well done. You know, it's not that time when Oko was in standard and everybody's running Noxious Grasp in their main decks. Right. You know, like that was we don't have anything like that.
Nothing in standard right now is on the level of Oko or even Fable of the Mirror Breaker or something like that. I don't think banning that word should not even be mentioned in the standard format.
I'm inclined to No, I'm inclined to agree. But I just think it's interesting because this is a situation where the domain list has become, you know, the thing that everyone is keyed into, but it doesn't seem problematic.
Right.
Anyway, so here we go.
No.
Yeah.
And
we are in. So at this point, we have Kylie or Keely, however that is pronounced. I apologize for no doubt butchering it. On mono red, going up against Random Child on Golgari mid range. So off to a pretty good start.
Nice. Golgari mid-range. Okay, so this is going to be a very tough matchup for mono red here. They've got a and they lost the die roll, or I don't know, maybe they missed the land drop on 3.
I believe
sure,
they lost the die roll, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah.
Okay. So yeah, this is going to be a tough matchup. Golgari, has bigger creatures. They also are relatively cheap. Again, Preacher of the Schism, things like that are so good against mono red because their Lightning Strike doesn't touch it. All the only thing that hits it is the Witchstalker's Frenzy. It blocks and eats every creature in your deck that's not flying. So yeah, Golgari midrange has a bunch of great, threats, great answers to mono red's threats here.
Right.
Obviously the cheap removal, we already see a cut down in their graveyard. Here's a Go for the Throat. There's a Virtue of Persistence in Adventure that's been cast. So this is a tough match, really tough match for mono red. 100%. They've got to draw very well here.
Yeah, and as awesome as the Bloodthirsty Adversary is, at this point, they need lands. It's really just that simple. So you just have to let it go.
Yeah. Doing a good job applying pressure here, though. And despite Random Child's removal, Keeley here is still able to get them almost to single digits by turn 4.
Yeah, not bad. I gotta say, it's kind of disheartening anytime you can look down and see 2 cards and 2 lands, and your opponent has 4 in their hand. That feels pretty rough. Now, fortunately, the Etchings of Kumano is a phenomenal answer to that Mosswood Dread Knight. Because in this scenario, if that Mosswood Dread Knight dies, it goes into exile. And so they have an opportunity to frenzy it, but they don't have to. The Etchings can just trade with it. And now
interesting.
It's
exile. They want to get this Punisher down. That makes sense. We're going to get at least one trigger here because they couldn't cut it down. Even if they have Go for the Throat, it's still going to trigger on upkeep. Punisher's a great one against the Golgari deck. They are 2 colors, but they don't play a ton of basics. They have a lot of creature lands and no way to fetch up basics. So yeah, there's the Go for the Throat, but getting that one trigger in, pretty important. Ooh, and a haste creature.
Yep, and the other notable thing there is they kind of held on to the Witchstalker Frenzy because at any point, if Random Child finds that 4th land drop, a Sheldred might pop out. And having removal for that is going to be critical.
And I think that's why we're seeing the mono red deck able to put green-black in a corner here. Green-black missing their land drops is crucial. Not being able to double spell, not being able to play that Sheldred.
Yeah, and this is lethal here. The Witchstalker Frenzy. Yeah, so both players got mana screwed, but yeah, Kylie's deck was just able to recover faster.
Yeah.
Get there.
Exactly. When 2 decks get mana screwed, but one of them nothing costs more than 3 mana, it's okay. Yeah. They end up
it's gonna be a lot better
to play all their spells. Okay, so what are we bringing in against green-black here? It's going to be interesting. The Forge could be interesting, but we're going to be bringing in that. We have, what is that? Twisted Fealty. Oh, that's a very interesting sideboard card. Don't see that often.
Well, this is a matchup where
taking out a bunch of the
maybe that'd be valuable. Yeah, Twisted Fealty is an interesting choice in a situation where, you don't have sacrifice outlets. That's the situation where you see those threaten effects the most, where it's just pure value. But when you're trying to end your opponent, they're going to have a good 4-drop or a good 5-drop. Being able to steal it and add a little extra damage to your attack while eliminating a blocker can do the job. It can be really important. So as a 1-of coming out of the board in this matchup, that makes sense. Yeah, and it doesn't always have to be a Sheldred either. It can be something even as simple as a Mosswood Dread Knight, that removes a key blocker, gets in for an additional 3 damage. That can make all the difference. Yep.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. I know the black-green deck might be siding in. I'm not even sure. We could look at the lists here. I don't know if they have the Obstinate Baloth in the sideboard, but...
they don't. It looks like they do have cut downs. They have Gix's Command, Tranquil Frillback. That's a life gain option.
Oh, yeah. Trampled Frillback's a good one.
Yeah, there are 3
a lot
of those.
Life gain. Yeah, we'll see if mono red can plow through it here. Now, Random Child with the play this game. Pretty important. Yeah,
one card that's in Random Child sideboard that I doubt came in for this matchup, but I just want to give a shout out. Hearsay and I were talking about it a little bit earlier. Nightclubber is a 1-of in the sideboard.
Oh, yeah.
That's a nice little line of bats you have there, opponent. Yeah. And
yeah, well, that Nightclubber is very much for the toxic matchup.
I think
that's when you're bringing that card in. wiping all their 1/1s, the tokens from Skrelv's Hive, the tokens from Mirex, the other stuff. Yeah, I think that's what that's mostly for. Because against mono red, I mean, it's not really doing that much, right?
Right.
You're not really killing. They don't play many 1 toughness creatures, but
yeah, even their 1-drops, even their Swift Spheres have 2 and whatnot. So, all right, so here we go. I gotta say, Kumano faces Kakazan into Feldon, phenomenal setup, and Galissa does offer a little bit of hope, but it was all dashed by that lightning strike.
Yeah. And Lightning Strike over Witchstalker's Frenzy, of course, there, because the Frenzy must be saved to use on Sholdred, which if... Ooh, do they not have a land here again? I'm not sure if they have a land. This is nice, though. I think I take the Frenzy here, but Forge is obviously a problem. This depends on what's in Random Child's hand, of course. If they have that... oh, they take Forge. So they...
Hello.
and the hello.
A braid, fantastic draw.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
So just throwing down the Bloodthirsty Adversary, take advantage of that Chapter 2 on Kumano faces Kakazan, and just apply more pressure. That is the name of the game.
Green-black, unfortunate with the draws here, not finding the 4th land there, so having to play the Bat, which is pretty embarrassing on turn 4 against mono red. I mean, it just doesn't, not doing a lot here. We get that Forge back, but no plays this turn. They're at 4 life, though, and green-black not finding lands. Oh, boy, that is not going to be good enough.
Preacher is a great card, but it's not going to do it. Yep.
And mono red proceeds to the finals.
This video is brought to you by MagicJank.com, the spiciest cards for your sauciest decks. Buy and sell Magic the Gathering products and gear today on MagicJank.com.
Looking for the latest comic book to add to your collection? How about the last card for that Magic the Gathering Commander deck? Well, the comic book store's got you covered. Shop online at comicbookstore.tcgplayerpro.com or come in person at 30 North Main Street, Glassboro, New Jersey. Pizza people, are you enjoying the content? Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. It's free. Hit that bell icon as well. That way, anytime any of our new content comes out, you're able to see it right away. Hey, leave a comment down below as well. Tell us what you're going to play in the next event, or tell us what you're enjoying about the video. Don't forget, check out the description too. We've got tons of great content down below, and on top of that, we're going to have our tournament schedule too. So get in on it. Hope to see you.
Hey, now's its time to shine. I just hope it sticks around. Because it really is a good balancing factor on the format, right? So,
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, having that deck that is going to slap you around if you can't stop it by turn 4. It's going to keep you honest.
It's a good check.
Yeah.
It's a pressure valve on the format, right? So but mono red winning the die roll here. So this is already putting mono red way ahead in terms of advantage here, not just for this game, but for the match. Because remember, they're very heavily advantaged here in game 1, especially on the play. And then even if they lose game 2 to the other aggro deck when mono red is on the draw, they go back to game 3 being on the play again. So they just have an advantage for the whole match just by winning that die roll, which is very crucial in these aggro mirrors. But there's a Fading Hope.
Fading Hope answering the counter from Kumano, and the Wicked Roll is going to ping for 1, but I mean that
should have bounced in response to the trigger though, right? With Scoundrel, because then
because the Wicked Roll never would have been generated. Yeah.
So taking an extra damage, a little bit of a mistake there, I think, but that's okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
Not the end of the world. Adversary coming down, baiting the counter here. I like that. So rather than going with the Charming Scoundrel again, which they know that, their opponent, Keeley knows their opponent knows they have the Scoundrel, we'd rather resolve the Scoundrel. Adversary not flashing anything back, much better as a, bait spell here, and they take the bait.
Absolutely.
Because they have to.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you kind of don't have a choice. So... yeah, Charming Scoundrel can also go down. I'm assuming there's more interaction. But to be honest, with this deck, I mean, the Rot Priest is capable of taking all these bounce spells, all this interaction, and turning it into poison. So by forcing, all of these bounce spells and, the counter spells and whatnot, at this point in the game, you're doing yourself really, I don't know, I feel like Kylie is just setting themselves up for success, even if these don't go through for damage right now. Because these are...
You're absolutely right.
You're stripping resources from your opponent in a big way.
Well, it's very similar to Shoulder the Apocalypse. When that card got spoiled, a lot of people dismissed it. Pros, content creators, everybody was like, oh, come on, it just dies to Doomblade. Like, it dies to Go for the Throat. It doesn't need TB and do anything. Maybe you get 1 trigger for 2 life. Pff, that's nothing. And
Right.
what people weren't realizing, and once you started playing with Shouldered, you realize when you put it in a shell of a bunch of very powerful creatures that come down before the Shouldered. So if you go turn 2 Denick into turn 3 Rafine, then you play your Shouldered, they've already used their removal. They've used their Go for the Throat already. They've used their Doomblades, and then Shouldered sticks and wins the game by itself. Exactly the same situation you're describing here, where you're absolutely right. Baiting their bounce. So every removal spell they use on you, it's like when Mono Red has to use their burn spells to kill your creatures. You're happy. You're like, oh, great. They're not burning my face. That's fantastic. Getting them to burn those spells. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of, that's exactly what happened here. Top Deck Master played out the Charge of the Mites on Kylie's end step there to create 2 Mites.
Yeah.
There was an option to hit the Play with Fire, blasting one of the Mites. Instead, Kylie chose to keep it, deal 2 more damage to the face, choosing to go for the race rather than trying to control anything here. Like, some poison is inevitable. And so instead of spending my damage getting rid of your creatures, I'm just gonna go straight for your life total, especially against the Bant deck or the Bant poison deck, where a lot of the creatures can't block anyway.
Right.
So I'm gonna get in for this damage. What happened?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is why red is so advantaged in this matchup. I mean, the Bant deck doesn't have removal. They just have bounce spells. So yeah, those bounce spells are really great when they're casting them on their own creatures to put in that last couple of poison points. But when they have to use them on their opponent's creatures, oh god, that's way worse. I mean, you're bouncing a Scoundrel here, taking 1. Now it's back and it's doing damage, and it's the removal just does not line up. And because they're using so many of their spells to deal with the red onslaught, they can't combo off and just do like 6 poison the way we saw them do last match against Domain. Against Domain, they give them so much time, the Bant deck can set up and then bam, use their own spells on their own creatures to just kill you out of nowhere. They can't do that against Mono Red, and that's why it's such a bad matchup. This is a tough one. So we're at 6 poison here.
That land is excellent. So now there could be a Kumano into Squee, or we could be looking at double Bloodthirsty Adversaries.
Lightning Strike does 3 here. Yeah, so we can't triple spell, but we can double spell. It's a close one.
So it comes down to here. Yeah, so it really comes down to what is in the opponent's hand. Because if they don't have anything, this attack hits for 4, and then Lightning Strike, you call it a day.
Yeah, and I like this. I like this attack here. Could see a March, phase out your creatures here. That would be a nice little answer, but then and that's what we see. But again, this is exactly what we're talking about. This March is how you win your games a lot of times, and here we are using it as a fog, which obviously is very good against Mono Red, but that's not winning us the game. Like they're going to swing again next turn. I'm not sure. We're just buying a little time here.
Yeah, and putting down the Bloodthirsty Adversary does present a blocker for one of those Mites, because otherwise that's 8 damage coming in. Depending on what that card is and depending on what they draw, that might put you within striking distance. So I can appreciate having a blocker present. That also represents more damage next turn if it's not dealt with.
Exactly. I like that. I like the body here for all the reasons you mentioned. Blocking is clutch. Because we're on 6 poison. I mean, if they can get in 2 more poison and then go proliferate. I mean, they have 2 cards. They could have gotten lucky the way we saw them get lucky against Domain in that other round where they top decked the second, bounce/proliferate spell to win it.
Right.
This is going to be close.
Yeah. So now we have a block situation, which the Seed Core can make it a trade. But that's fine as long as it's preventing a poison. All right. The block's been declared.
Right.
That's very important.
Yep. Yeah, I think Bant is just hoping that the red deck doesn't have a Lightning Strike as their last card here. They know the Squee, they know the Kumano in red's hand, but Lightning Strike probably is too much. I don't think they're going to be able to beat that. But
Indeed.
We shall see.
Yeah.
So they're debating playing something post-combat. There's not a lot they can do here. Activating Mirex doesn't help because the token can't block. They've got their bounce spells. Oh, they've got to stop on upkeep here. Oh, they gonna let them go to draw? Are they going to interact on upkeep?
Yeah.
No, they go to main phase, straight to attacks. So we know they have something here.
Well, and now we're in a situation where there's double Kumano and a lightning strike. You know, there's 5 damage just in hand right now.
Oh god. Okay, so that's over. I would go Kumano first here, and then if they interact, then we lightning strike.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Manually tapping the Foundry.
Well,
I don't know if that's that's not necessary yet.
No, that doesn't matter. I know Keely, like, this is one of those spots where everybody watching is like, come on, just Kumano lightning strike, do it. But when you're in that position, you really are like, okay, I don't want to screw this up. This is the finals of the tournament. Let's just make absolutely sure.
Absolutely. No,
we're doing this.
Taking a deep breath, looking at it for a second, really thinking through the options. What do they have? You know.
And of course, they died of the lightning strike, and we all knew it was going to happen, but it doesn't matter. Be careful, measure twice, cut once, kind of thing.
Absolutely. 100%. Yep.
It's funny. So, sideboard, we see Godric coming out. Okay, a little too slow, the 3-drop. We're bringing in some Barrage, of course. Yep. Which Stalker Frenzy coming out seems good. Yep. And that's
that makes
probably it. They've got.
Well, they need to find 4 more cards in because,
I
mean, do you bring in Forge here? Probably not.
Yeah, no. I'd rather have a body that can block.
Right. I'm kind of surprised the Godric's. I mean, reducing Godric's to 2 of maybe, but I
don't know.
I feel like it's not terrible in this matchup. Yeah.
Right. It's a body.
Yeah.
They've got a bunch of removal. They're basically looking. Yeah, this is all my removal here. I've got this many answers to creatures. Good.
Nice.
Yeah, they're the Godric's come back in. Yeah, probably a couple Witch Stalker Frenzy.
Cool.
I would just want more removal here, or the Barrage. They put the Barrage back in the sideboard, but I like Barrage here.
They put 1 back in. They still have 3. So honestly, I'd go 4 on that. But
we've got 2 more slots to fill. I would go Barrage and Witch Stalker Frenzy here. But, they're gonna go for Warcrafting Frenzy. Okay, just all the removal spells.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're off. So here we go. Mono red up a game. Let's see. Can the Bant Toxic deck, adjust here going into game 2? They're going to be on the play. That looks like a pretty good hand to me.
They got their knockout blows.
Right.
Yeah,
those knockout blows absolutely came in.
But we are on the draw, so they get the natural advantage this game. But again, we're up a game here, so if they do steal this, we get to go back to game 3 on the play as Mono Red, which puts it very firmly, the advantage back in Mono Red's court here.
Yeah, but turn 1 Swift Spear, generally...
We're going to get Swifty on turn 1.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then turn 2, you've got options. Yep.
Exactly. I was going to say, we're setting up some nice ones here. Now, Skrelv is annoying, of course.
Oh,
You have to...
there it is.
That's a great draw.
Yep.
So we can ping Skrelv and kill the Duelist next turn, but that Duelist is scary. Obviously, you can't target the Duelist here because you've got the Skrelv up. I don't think your opponent is going to be... tapping Skrelv to push through damage here, like to give it pro red, the Duelist pro red, and giving you an opening to kill it with a braid or something. That's just crazy. So I don't know what the play is here. I kind of like Lithomantic Barrage Skrelv, swing for 2 with the Swift Spear, but I don't know. Maybe you use all your mana, a braid, and the next turn you can double spell, go Charming Scoundrel, Lithomantic Barrage.
Yeah, that's a fine option.
Yeah, I think that's probably better. I think if you just pass here, it's probably worse because you really want to keep pushing damage here. And there's a couple ways to do it. You can either pump the Swift Spear or you can go Charming Scoundrel here. Now, Charming Scoundrel makes a treasure. Treasure kills Skrelv, but then neither of your creatures... the treasure casts Barrage, to kill Skrelv, but neither of your creatures push through.
Yep. And it looks like that's what they want to do.
Yeah. I don't know about this. It's okay, I guess.
Yeah, getting an extra body online, you now have a 2/3 that you can attack with.
Right.
That's it's not bad. Yeah, can't swing Charming Scoundrel into the Duelist.
This also lets us have a block on the Duelist next turn, which is relevant. 2 poison is, a 5th of your life total against the poison deck, basically. So
Yeah, it's pretty significant.
Keeping a blocker back makes sense. But no double spell next turn, so it's probably just going to be Oh, but they don't block anyway. Okay. Interesting.
Okay.
All right, we're racing then, I guess.
Skrelv's Hive.
Skrelv's Hive.
And Skrelv's back.
All
right.
Ooh. Oh, the squee off the top was a great draw. I think I'm just jamming squee here. But Godric's an option.
Yeah, the squee goblins definitely represent nice blockers. What's going on? Although, I mean, can you afford to let them untap with Skrelv and that duelist down in a monocolored deck like this?
I mean, we're looking at 4 poison off that. Yeah, but again, the question becomes, can we race that?
Right.
So if we go squee here, swing, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, putting them to 11. Then we go to 6 poison. Can we kill them from 11 the turn after? I don't think we can.
Yeah, that's pretty dicey. So keeping the Swift Spear back is going to force the Skrelv activation, which was probably going to happen anyway, to be honest. But I can appreciate insisting on it. My goodness.
Oh boy.
Seed Core.
This is a close one. Yeah, Seed Core does something here as well. 3 white. Is this the Sentry? Yeah, Annex Sentry coming down to eat that Swift Spear. And now we can leave or Squee, for that matter. Okay. But that 1/4 body, very good here. A Braid obviously taking care of it, but same with Frenzy.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and they're going for it. Yeah, that's why leaving back the blockers seems a little silly there. I think I would rather try to get in even just 1 more damage. But yeah, they're going to 6 poison. Okay, so now we're in the danger zone. And there's a blocker. That was clutch.
Dang.
Okay.
But yeah, so the Abrade... Yeah, the Abrade can destroy the Annex Sentry, get Squee back.
Well, yeah, and that's huge here because these guys all have lifelink now. Which obviously is a huge problem.
Absolutely. And Witchstalker Frenzy is going to be up here as well on the attack.
Yeah.
And Skrelv is tapped, so this is an opportunity to take out that duelist.
Yeah, we can attack, hit Crawling Chorus before blocks, but then that's not enough damage. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they're not going to die, so leaving back some blockers here, maybe.
Yeah.
But again, we can't kill the Crawling Chorus with Witchstalker Frenzy. I think we need to actually hit Skrelv. Because if Skrelv forces through that duelist, it's lethal.
Right.
Or the duelist, I guess. You could hit that, but...
yeah.
Oh, that's a tough
And so, interesting a note on the wording on Witchstalker Frenzy. It specifically says this spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature that attacked this turn. And Damien, I know you understand this, but for the folks at home, the way that means is you have to have declared them as an attacker. So the token that Squee generates that enters the battlefield tapped and attacking does not count towards that. So yeah, it doesn't check how many creatures have been, did attack at some point or were attacking at some point. It's how many.
Yeah, very good point to bring up. And Squee Adeline is another card that does this, that I've won games against people because they don't know how Adeline works. That token coming in is not an attacker that you declared as an attacker, so it doesn't count for purposes of stuff like Frenzy and other things.
Yeah. Well, the other one is the passive on the Eternal Wanderer. That's one that, only one creature can attack it each turn, but a creature entering, tapped, and attacking can totally go after it alongside something else.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You can't declare more than one attacker. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So anyway.
So,
all right.
This is interesting. They are down to 1 card, the Bant Toxic deck. So, if they do have something to push through
so this is
damage.
2.
Yeah, and they're going to gain life, which is crucial here. That Skrelv's Hive just being so important.
I mean, this is 3. If there's any proliferate or anything, there's no way you can let that connect.
Yeah, I think you have to block. Yeah, you have to block the one that's not pro-red here. We have Godric next turn. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
With Squee still online.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's lethal. We don't need the Scoundrel, so I would definitely put it in front of the token here. But Keeley taking their time. That's correct.
Seed Core also being back while the creatures have lifelink is kind of scary.
Yeah, they're going to gain 3 here.
Yep.
Yep, good call. Assuming they don't have a I don't know what that last card is, but yeah.
Right.
Okay. If it was a bounce spell, they would have bounced. So yeah, it's just Seed Core gaining the life, taking them to 11. We can do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Not quite enough.
Not quite enough.
Ooh, that's not
Although,
enough to
okay.
kick adversary.
Yeah, not quite.
So Godric is gonna go to the yes, Godric off the squeed trigger will go to the air, become a 4/4. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Holy cow! I think they're 1 point short here.
Yep.
Can we pump Godric for 1? How much is Godric to pump? I can't remember now. Is it 1? It's not 1 red, is it? It is 1 red.
It is.
Yeah, there we go. That's
oh my
lethal.
goodness.
Okay.
Got there.
I thought it was maybe more than 1 red for a second. That's exactsies. Oof.
Man, that was
lucky.
a nail biter. Yeah.
But not surprising. Mono red, even on the draw there, still being good enough.
But and notably, it would have been
Nice.
lethal on the crackback because of Skrelv's activation.